So one of the downsides of managing your hives starting in late February is that they can boom really quickly. We've had a strong nectar flow in April, some early warm temperatures. It cooled down but was very warm up to the 80s, and these hives got strong and they exploded on me faster than I could make my splits. So what I've got going on now is a lot of swarming. I'm doing my best to try to catch them and grab these bees before they head off into the woods, and so far it's been kind of hit and miss. But let's go take a look at some swarms. For the first time this year, I started providing protein supplement to my bees in February, about 3 weeks before the first pollen appeared. This got the bees raising more brood than they might otherwise during a normal late winter, and the goal was to have a strong bee population very early to catch the very beginning of the nectar flow here in southeastern Ohio. Consider that goal achieved, because by late April I already had queen cells all over my hives, and today swarms are kicking off. Bees are boiling out of several hives, streaming out of the bottom boards. Quite a few are even coming out of the upper entrances as well. Luckily, the first swarm has landed low on a nearby tree, and it's pretty easy to collect. The second swarm, however, is much higher, about 15 feet in the air above the first on the same tree. So with a lot of empty nuke boxes around, I've placed one up on an 8-foot ladder, and I'm hoping that the bees higher up in the tree will drop down while I set up a second box to catch the bees lower down on the tree. But it looks like the lower bees have different plans. While I've been getting more equipment, they've immediately started climbing the tree towards that nuke box. They've been moving slowly, but steadily upwards, some flying while others are hiking it. But now it looks like the queen has made it into the box, because suddenly all these bees have shifted into overdrive and they're moving really, really fast. Because of the traffic jam at the front of the hive, I've shifted the inner cover on top of the nuke just a bit so they have a little bit more room to enter. And they're moving in pretty quick. That second swarm, however, went even higher into the tree, and they just flew away. So I've decided to place 2 nukes on a ladder as swarm traps for any other bees that decide to swarm today. Which is not a shabby idea, because it's been 30 minutes after the first 2 swarms, and we've got another one, and they're heading straight for the nuke on the top of the ladder. Just had a 4th swarm take off, and they've landed in a nearby maple, but they're almost immediately descending down into an empty nuke box. And I thought I was done today, but here's another one hanging out under the hive that they just spilled out of. So I'm giving them another nuke to climb into. So it is the next day, and yesterday was incredibly busy. I think I had about 7 or 8 swarms that I witnessed, and I was only able to catch 5 of them. 3 of them, they were relatively small, but they flew away. The big problem is I used almost all my nuke boxes to catch those swarms, including 2 additional swarms the following day. And I was planning on using all my nuke boxes to make splits from weak hives. I've got 10 queens showing up next week that I was going to use to replace underperforming queens, and now I don't have enough equipment to house those bees into the small nuke boxes and the splits when I divide up those hives that aren't doing so well. So now I've got to scrounge up a lot of equipment in a hurry before those queens show up because I can't stop the queens from coming and I can't return them. So when my queens show up next week and I make my splits, I'm going to have about 27, 28 hives in my apiary, which is a lot more than I planned on. And as a sideliner, it might be more than I can handle right now. So, yeah, I might have too many bees. We'll see what I do with them.